My name is Crystal Edwards, and I am the proud superintendent of Lynchburg City Schools. And right now, I'd like to invite some special guests to come up here and help me. That is the Darrington Diplomatic Corps with their principal, Mr. Jason Jambrone, to lead us in the pledge. So if you would come up and then please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
And if you can give them another round of applause, these students are awesome, and they've earned the right to be on this stage. You all come this way, future Hilltoppers.
Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There you have it, starting out with our future leaders already. Thank you, Mr. Jambrone and the Darrington Diplomatic Corps. Before I begin tonight's program, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you, our distinguished guests. We have school board members, maybe city council members, city leadership, our esteemed and talented LCS staff, parents, guardians, family members, our students are here tonight, and our community partners, including businesses, colleges, and universities, and nonprofit organizations. Can all of you join me in giving a huge round of applause to our elementary students that greeted you with Miss Ginger Paris, our EC Glass Jazz Ensemble led by Mr. Russ Paulus, and of course, our Darrington Diplomatic Corps. Our kids are special and wonderful, and that should set the tone for why we are here tonight. You are in for a special treat as our staff and students are going to take you on a journey. We're going to do 4 things tonight. First, we're going to highlight some of the accomplishments from the last school year, 2022-2023. Then we're going to give you a front row seat and look at what's going on right now in our schools. Then we will transition to show you what's in store for the future at Lynchburg City Schools. And the 4th thing I'll save for later and let you know what that is. But to get you in the mood and show you why Lynchburg City Schools is your public school of choice, I want to introduce the Dunbar Middle School Theater. They're led by our Teacher of the Year, Albert Carter and Lori Carter.
Right here, Brett. Good evening. I am the Lori of the half of Lori and Albert Carter. Together we are Dunbar Theater, and we're so excited to perform a number for you tonight from The Drowsy Chaperone Jr. This is our competition piece that we took to Atlanta, Georgia, and we just won excellence in dance, and we are judged by Broadway judges and professionals, and they were blown away with these kids. Just to set this up for you real quick, our narrator is actually in present day, and he's reminiscing about his favorite record that he loves dearly, and it happens to be a musical. And he's going to play the record, and it comes to life in his apartment, in his imagination, and you'll share in that. We're going to do one number from our competition piece called Toledo Surprise, and we hope you enjoy it. We hope you come and see Anne of Green Gables at Dunbar Middle March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Tickets at lynchburgtickets.com. We'd love to have you visit us at our beautiful purple home. Thank you all tonight. And Dunbar Theater, raise the bar.
No excuses!
Oh, hello. How are we today? I'm feeling a little blue myself. Anyway, whenever I feel this way, I like to listen to my music. So I was going through my records this morning, and what did I find? But one of my favorite shows, Gable and Stein's The Drowsy Chaperone. It's the full show with the original cast, including Beatrice Stockwell as the chaperone. Can you believe it? So, would you indulge me? Would you let me play the record for you now? I was hoping you'd say yes.
Mr. Feldzig!
It would seem the wedding is proceeding according to schedule.
Now it's time you receive your just desserts. What do you think, partner? Should we whip up something special for Mr. Feldzig?
Yeah, how about a Toledo surprise?
A Toledo surprise? I've never heard of that.
Those people who have heard of it are generally never heard from again.
We'll share the recipe with you.
First, you chop the nuts.
Then you pound the dough.
Then you bake it up nice and slow.
Then you've got your Toledo surprise.
Say, why don't we give him a little taste?
All right.
Hold it! What style, what grace, what rhythm! Open your fist, now shake 'em, and give me the recipe one more time. Da-da-da-da-da-da, go!
Chop the nuts, pound the dough, bake it up
Right.
nice and slow. Then you got Toledo surprise.
Now smell it!
Hit the peach, peel the skin, mush it up, throw it in. That's a tasty Toledo surprise. First you beat it up, then you sweeten it up. When you heat it up, if it tries to rise, don't let it hit a snap. Try it, folks. Whip your whites, split your yolks, then you got a Toledo surprise.
You boys are natural!
Honest?
Keep it up! I'll go work on the contract!
Hey!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Mr. Feldzig! Oh, what's going on here?
Kitty, I'm developing an act.
Toledo surprise.
You mean you're putting gangsters in the show and you won't put me in? They're not even in the union!
You got it all wrong. The new act, it's for you, Kitty. And these are your backup dancers.
Backup dancers? Holy cats!
Squeeze the cream, grease the pan, flick the spoon, flip the plan, beat your mustard Toledo surprise.
Wait! Aldolfo, he make announcement. The wedding is off.
What?
Aldolfo has kissed the bride.
What?
That's not the bride, you idiot! That is the chaperone.
The wedding is on! The wedding is on! What? Robert kissed a French girl. Her name is Mimi.
She was just like you, only French.
Sweet mother of pearl! Underling! Yes, madam? What's all this commotion about? The wedding, madam. Oh, is there going to be a wedding?
Not anymore! What a tragedy. What a wonderful, wonderful tragedy. Clear the floor, boys. I'll show you how it's done. First you beat it up. Then you sweet it up. When you heat it up, if it tries to rise, don't let it. Toledo surprise!
Surprise!
Wintel's
Ready! Surprise!
Wintel's ready.
Surprise!
Wintel's ready. Now it's looking ready.
Surprise!
You got it. Makes me twitch, makes me shake. This dessert takes the cake. Hits me like a torpedo. Toledo surprise. Toledo surprise. Toledo surprise. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Weren't they just amazing? I think the only part I can get of that is the slow it up piece of that. But oh my goodness. Those opportunities to learn, lead, and grow as a part of Dunbar Theater, again, just showcase why Lynchburg City Schools is your public school of choice. Let me share with you a few other highlights from 2023 where our students have positioned our public schools to be the leader in arts, athletics, academics, and just awesomeness here at home in Virginia and across the nation. Last year, one of our high school students at Heritage High School was the grand finalist in physical science at the Central Virginia Science Fair. He represented us in Dallas, Texas at the Regeneron International Science and Engineering Fair. 5 Lincoln Middle School students earned national honors at the Family Career and Community Leaders of America in Denver, Colorado. EC Glass basketball team was named Class 4 runner-up at the state championship. Was there? Great job, team. Both our girls and boys indoor track teams at Heritage took the Class 3 state championship, and both EC Glass and Heritage had students that left the Lynchburg mark as they captured awards at the state forensics. And even our elementary schools, they took over the walls and halls and displays as they displayed their art in the Academy Center of Arts and the Lynchburg Regional Airport. So, where else but in Lynchburg can a 6-year-old and a 16-year-old share the stage during an entertaining violin concert? Where can a student participate in internships through partnerships with BWXT, Beacon of Hope, and CloudFit? Where can they get a free book each month from birth to 5 years old through the Imagination Library and partnership that we have with Lynchburg City Schools Education Foundation? Where else but Lynchburg do our students spend a week in one of the most premier leadership programs, Project Inclusion, which is a partnership with Virginia Center for Inclusive Communities? Where else can our students join Good Gangs, not bad gangs, Good Gangs, which is a program sponsored by the University of Lynchburg? Where else can they participate in a Young Women's Empowerment Academy at the Jubilee Center? Where else are our high school students flying Air Force planes right here with the Junior ROTC program in Lynchburg? And where, except Lynchburg, can you swim to work while in school and get a job as a lifeguard through our partnerships with the YMCA and Iron Lives? I could go on and on and on, but we would be here all night talking about the accomplishments of our students and our staff and our very supportive families and communities. But I have other people who want to share information with you. So we have a wonderful panel for you. This panel is going to be moderated by Glass's own Mr. Aaron Reed. Mr. Reed graduated from EC Glass in 1994 and is currently a 26-year veteran teacher right here at Glass. He's a department chairperson for the English department. He also co-coaches that award-winning forensics team, and he was the pilot teacher for the AP African American Studies course right here in Virginia. He's passionate about the development of our young minds in public school setting and advocating specifically for critical thinking and public speaking. Can you join me in welcoming Mr. Aaron Reed?
Good evening, good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce you to our panel this evening. I want to go ahead and give some quick introductions before we begin our dialogue about the state of LCS, the position of public education and how important it is here in Central Virginia. So I'm going to go ahead and start here immediately to my left to introduce our panelists, and then we'll go ahead and get started. First up, I would like to go ahead and introduce to you Lucy White, right here on my left. Lucy is a 17-year-old student currently enrolled at E.C. Glass High School. She has been enrolled in LCS for all of her years of education. She is the E.C. Glass School Board representative. She is an active member of our student council, our Key Club, our National German Honor Society, Link Crew, and the proud captain of the Glass field hockey team. She identifies LCS as a place that has provided her with opportunities in the arts, in sports, in clubs, and other activities, making her into, quote, an independent, well-rounded adult. Lucy, thank you so much for being with us this evening. Second up, I'd like you to go ahead and introduce to you Mr. Albert Carter, who needs almost no introduction from me, but Albert Carter is, of course, the current LCS Teacher of the Year. Mr. Carter began his career at LCS as a music teacher in 1991. He transitioned to Dunbar Middle in 1994 and has been there ever since. He teaches drama and chorus, and he currently serves as Dunbar's choral and theater director, heading up multiple concerts and theatrical productions every year. Albert, along with his wife and co-producer Lori, has built a theater program at Dunbar Middle that continues to raise the bar for performing art departments across our region and beyond. Thank you, Mr. Carter, for being here with us tonight. Appreciate it. Next up, I'd like to go ahead and introduce to you Dr. Kathy Dills. She is a proud graduate of E.C. Glass High School. Dr. Dills completed her bachelor's degree at East Tennessee State University, majoring in special education. She earned her first master's degree in emotional disabilities at Radford University and her second master's degree in educational leadership from Virginia Tech. She completed her doctorate from Virginia Tech as well. She began her career in Roanoke County as a special education teacher and then went on to Roanoke County Career Center. She then joined Bedford County Public Schools and as an assistant principal for 5 years and then a principal for 7. Dr. Dills joined Lynchburg City Schools in 2019 as Lincoln Middle School's assistant principal. In 2020, Dr. Dills became the principal of Lincoln Middle School. Dr. Dills resides in Bedford County with her husband Chris, 4 dogs, her pet pig, and 10 goats. Dr. Dills has 3 daughters, one of which works in LCS at Lincoln Elementary School as a first grade teacher, and a second who is coaching for Lincoln Middle School soccer. The third is known to volunteer her time at the concessions for Lincoln Middle School. Dr. Dills, thank you for being with us tonight. We appreciate it. Last but certainly not least, I'd like to go ahead and introduce to you Dr. Derek Brown. Dr. Brown received his bachelor's degree in biological sciences with a minor in Africana Studies in 2008 from Virginia Tech. He earned his master's degree in educational leadership in 2012 and later earned his doctorate in leadership studies in 2018 from then Lynchburg College, now University of Lynchburg. Dr. Brown began his teaching career at Amherst County High School as a biology teacher in 2008. He later went on to be the assistant principal of Amherst Middle School from 2012 to 16. After leaving Amherst County Public Schools, Dr. Brown went to Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle for Innovation in Lynchburg, where he was principal from 2016 to 2019. He helped lead that school to a fully accredited status for the first time in 8 years, and Dunbar was named the best public school by Living in Lynchburg magazine in 2019. Dr. Brown was also named one of the top 20 young professionals under 40 in Central Virginia. Dr. Brown, thank you for being with us tonight. So the purpose of this panel discussion is really to provide some perspective on what LCS sort of is and represents, where we are today, this year, as well as where we are headed in the future. So this is a fairly informal panel. I do have some questions that I'm going to go ahead and pose to the panelists just as a way to get things started, but what will probably happen is, as educators, we will probably be piggybacking and talking as a result of what we're hearing from our very esteemed colleagues. So I'll start us off and then everybody can sort of jump in. So here is my first question, and Lucy, I'm going to go ahead and start with you because you're right on my left here. According to the children on the internet these days, people like to have a hot take on things. That is my understanding of the phrasing. Lucy, what would you say is a hot take of yours about the positive things happening here at LCS?
I mean, I think of a hot take as an unpopular opinion, and I think most people do know that great things are happening in LCS all the time. So I wouldn't say an unpopular opinion. I would just say something that I feel really strongly about is opening up different kinds of programs to appeal to all kinds of students who may have different interests or want to spend their time doing something specific. And I feel like LCS caters to a lot of that. So proud to be a part of it.
Excellent. Mr. Carter, what's your hot take?
Well, I was looking around, and in your introduction, there are a lot of former LCS students who come back to the division to teach or to work for the division. And I think that's a pretty good statement about LCS, that the students who go through LCS want to come back and give to the future students that are there. And so to me, that's a really special thing that you don't see a lot, I think, in other school districts.
One of the things I love telling my students is, as they're about to graduate, is I say, pretty soon, you and I are going to hold diplomas from the same institution. Right. And that feels special. Yeah. Dr. Dills, I apologize for interrupting. What's your hot take?
I was going to say the exact same thing. It is amazing to walk through EC Glass High School and see elementary school students walking on stage and in the strings program. It's just a dedication from when they walk in through kindergarten all the way until the diploma. It just is the real dedication to it.
Dr. Brown, finish us out with your hot take over there.
Thank you. It always amazes me the humans that make up LCS and the people, the teachers, and all the way from the school board to our superintendent, our central office staff, our teachers, our custodians, our secretaries, our students, our parents, our community. They're really talented and invested people that give their all and all every single day in this school division. They come and do amazing things, things that aren't done anywhere else that I've seen. And it's just a privilege to be able to be around such amazing people that have such a passion to help students and students that are so talented and just give their best every day.
So let's get into some of the specifics here. Everybody on this stage represents some very specific, wonderful things that are going on in LCS. And so I'll just kind of start, and as you want to add things, please feel free to. Mr. Carter, I'm going to go ahead and start with you here. We of course know that LCS has boasts a storied history of the arts, right? Music and theater and so forth. What do you feel like the kids who have gone through, not just your program, but the things that you have seen and experienced, what do you feel like they gain from that sort of artistic experience in their life?
That's a great question. One of the things that the students gain is a self-confidence. They take it upon themselves to do something, a task, whether it's visual arts or whether it's performing in a choir or an instrumental group or on stage in a show, and they go through it, they work with others, they make it through, and that's a great feeling to finish something and to accomplish something, and it really gives you a great sense of confidence. And I think we see that the students that are going through the arts, not only does it carry in the arts, but it carries over in every aspect of their lives. And another thing that the arts help is that emotional learning, and because we've had some rough years, and I think it gives them a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose. And so that's some of the things that I see that the students in all aspects of the arts gain.
I think about the experiences that we have all had, of course, living through the pandemic, for example, being educators through a pandemic as well. And the thing that I hear the most often from families, from students, as well as ourselves, is that part of what got a lot of us through the pandemic was a form of art, right? Music got us through, and theater got us through, and movies got us through. And to not only celebrate that, but to understand how important they are in our lives. I think about what first responders did and how critical they were. And in the same breath, I think about how the entertainment world kept us feeling human in a way, and that feels important. So let's go ahead and move on here. Again, we're just kind of ping-ponging here a little bit. And again, you all feel free to jump in when you need to. So Dr. Dales, let me ask you a little bit about thinking about Lincoln Middle School. And you're doing some interesting things with something known as the Rosette Academy. Tell us a little bit about that, especially how it seems to address that sixth grade transition that's so critical.
Well, we actually were thinking about how can we design a program for fifth graders coming into sixth grade, and it doesn't feel like such a huge transition. And the way that we got our ideas is we asked the kids. We said, okay, if you, sixth graders, rising seventh graders, what would you have liked to have seen in sixth grade? And they're like, TVs in every room. I'm like, okay. They're like, Game Boys. I'm like, no, we're not gaming. No, we're not doing that. Take it back down to me. But one of the things that they said is smaller environment, connected to adults that immediately they could speak to. So our Rosette Academy is kind of old school. The kids are on teams. And so we took 200 kids, and these 100 are with the green team, these are with the yellow team, and they stay pretty much with that. And what we have seen is they go to homerooms, they have kind of that social emotional thing, it's somebody that they can talk to. They're gaining friendships that they would not normally have been, they're kind of forced together. However, I didn't know you, and now I do because you're on my team. It's also a competitiveness. It's interesting. They're like, we're a better team. We're the better team. We had a poetry night last night, and they were like, the green team did better. The yellow team did better. And so it had that camaraderie. We've also seen a pretty significant decrease in our discipline because they have somebody to talk to, and they have we're friends, and that's not kind. Let's not do that. As well as our achievement is going up because they're smaller classrooms. So we are thrilled about it, and we probably are going to replicate it into our seventh grade because it just is a natural progression with it.
You know, that makes me think, and Lucy, I'm going to bounce back to you here for just a moment. You know, it's been a couple of years since you've been a freshman, and we all might be trying to forget our freshman year, but we'll go back to it for just a moment. When you think about coming to high school or coming to middle school, how would you explain to someone the transition that a student goes through? What do you remember being sort of worried about, and what do you remember sort of feeling once you got to some of these new places, middle school, high school?
A big thing for me is, I mean, like all people, sometimes I have trouble staying on top of my workload. And a big transition from elementary to middle school is you're going to have more work that you're going to be responsible for. No one's going to be holding your hand as much. And there is for sure more work when you make those transitions from elementary to middle and then middle to high school. But I think it's almost about learning those study skills, learning those time management, and those skills that can really help you kind of stay on top of your own stuff without people having to remind you. And I think what's really important is having adults that not necessarily will be like, here's what you need to do, here's what you need to turn in, I can help you, but more like, here's what you need to do to remember, here, make a planner, and just kind of helping you out, not necessarily holding your hand, but kind of giving you that push to becoming more independent.
Would you say, now you're a member of the Link crew here, right?
Yes,
Would you say that that's one of the reasons that you enjoy being a part of Link crew, is sort of helping that transition?
Absolutely. I mean, I enjoy helping people, especially when it's going to be a harder time in your life, and I would know because I went through it. So I want to help people make that. I just want that to be easier for people, you know?
Absolutely.
Can I add something to that? The one thing that I would say also, if you are a parent here in the auditorium, one of the other things that I would say as a principal is you have a voice. And it is critical that if your son, daughter comes home and says something, that you contact the school. Because we are all about, you know, oh, we'll fix it. But if we are we're rowing down the wrong path or, you know, lake, it's not going to get done. So that your son or daughter may come home and tell you and be honest and say, this is not working the way that I need to. You have a voice. Call the school, whether it be a counselor or your favorite teacher, or, you know, emailing the principal. Please make sure, because we want to make our schools inviting. We want to have a part of the community. And so please make sure that you do have a voice, and give us a call, email, however you want to communicate, but let us know what we need to address.
This is a good time to remind parents also that in a couple of weeks we do have a parent conference day coming up, right? This is just a little PSA for that. Feel free to come on in. You know, here at Glass we use a touching bases format that I think maybe some schools use, and I think some schools are a bit more traditional. And I'm a big fan of that format because I think it allows parents, you know, we're all in the cafeteria, and so you don't have to try to traipse all over this school. It can be quite a walk at times. And so to be able to go from one table to another in the cafeteria and just literally touch base with teachers, just how are things going, I think is super important. I love seeing parents when they come in for that. To some of that, some of those ideas there, Dr. Brown, you of course have been behind a number of new kind of ideas this year that are really exciting. Tell us a little bit in the vein of sort of LCS Restore, where that idea comes from and maybe some of the fruits that you see it bearing.
Yeah, thank you for that question and the opportunity to speak about LCS Restore. I have an amazing team behind me that is doing this work alongside me and has amazing ideas and really doing some really innovative things to help change student behavior. As a principal for over a decade, I never met a student that went to sleep at night saying, I wonder how I'm going to make Dr. Dill's life miserable tomorrow. I can't wait to get to school just to be bad. And like the students don't think that way. And they're not intentionally coming to school to misbehave and act up. And I do truly believe that all communication is behavior. I mean, all behavior is communication. And when students are behaving a certain way, they're trying to tell us something. Sometimes they're trying to communicate a need. Sometimes they're trying to communicate a trauma. And it's up to us as adults to really dive into that and provide students with the opportunity to heal from those things and really to analyze it and be reflective and give them some replacement behaviors and replacement skills so that they can be successful. And so LCS Restore is a holistic system that we wanted to design that would help students outside of the base school environment, but also in the base school environment as well. And so LCS Restore is designed to do just that, restore students who are struggling with their behavior or may not have the skills that they need to restore them to what we know that they can be and be an excellence in the school system. Also as a principal, Dr. Dill's backed me up on this if I'm wrong, if you have a different experience. I've never had a student that came in and I gave them the 12th referral and they just said, thank you, Dr. Brown, this is the referral that changed my life. Have you ever had that happen? That hasn't happened yet. So that just lets me know and lets our team know that these students just don't have the skills that they need to be successful. And if we continue just to do the same thing, we're always going to get what we've always got. And so we just want to do something different. And so our first phase of that was starting the Restorative Suspension Academy, Restorative Suspension Center. And that is a center, instead of suspending students and sending them home, that we take them into a different environment. They're with our teachers and our coordinator there that work really intentionally with these students about their behavior. They do a lot of reflective work. First thing they do is they put their cell phones away and they're locked away for the day, which is punishment enough. But it's really reflective work that the students are doing, and they can't do that when they're distracted. So it's a different kind of environment where they're doing a lot of thinking about what they've done and they can unplug from the internet and really start to do that work. Instead of being sent at home or maybe walking around in the community, they also have the opportunity to do their work. So class work, the teachers are there so they don't get further behind. They're actually in school so they don't get into truancy and attendance issues. And then they're able to do that restorative work. We work with an organization called Life Push that does mentoring with the students and does a good job of holding them accountable and giving them those replacement skills, and then coming up with a plan for when they go back to the base school of who do they need to restore their relationships with. Because sometimes the students, they only think about themselves getting in trouble, but their parents were impacted by that, their guardians were impacted by that, the teacher sometimes was impacted, their classmates and peers were impacted by their behavior, the principal, counselors, the list goes on. So we want to do that work to help students restore those relationships when they get back into the building and be able to be more effective. So that's for a suspension 10 days or less. Sometimes students need a little bit more support and help. And so that's why we started the Restorative Academies, which we opened this year. And we looked at data and we saw that our transition years were really critical. So our kindergarten and first grade, our sixth grade, and our ninth grade is where we started these academies. These academies, students are there from 9 weeks to a semester, and they do really intentional work with our teachers and working on their academic, but also working on their behavior, their mental health. We have mental health partners with Harvest and Impact. And we're really doing a lot of great work with the mindset of these students are going back to the base school. We want to change the perception that alternative education is just for students that are behaving poorly. Sometimes you just need a different setting, and sometimes you just need people that are intentional and care about you that are going to give you the skills that you need so that you can be successful. So That, in a nutshell, is LCS Restore. I could go on, but I know we're short on time.
That's good.
I appreciate that, and as you were talking about it, I was reminded of a former student who came through. I think she came through Dunbar, maybe, and I came to EC Glass and graduated in 2016. The great Michaela Warwick went on to, I believe it was Penn State, where she went on to college, and at the end of her 4 years there, she earned the President's Commendation, which was actually a lump sum money to start her own nonprofit. And in the city of Philadelphia, right now, she is running a restorative center that works with local schools, as well as the local juveniles office, criminal justice system. And I say all this because last year, she returned here to LCS briefly, to EC Glass, and she visited a number of classes. And one of the classes that she visited was my pilot AP African American Studies class. And it was transformational to hear her talk to kids, some of whom had experiences that she was describing, and these kids who heard a different way of thinking about overcoming those obstacles. And so the work, as they say, continues.
Yeah, and it's just really important to give students that opportunity to have a voice so that we can be intentional. And when they speak, it's important that we listen and try to meet those needs. And I just really want to put a real quick plug. We've done a lot of work with mental health in this division. My team is able to secure over $10 million, close to $10 million in grants the last year that will span over the next 5 years to increase mental health services for students. So if you, as parents or students that are listening, need help or know students that need help, please reach out to your principals and your counselors, because there is help that's available, and that's work that we're doing as well.
So we're getting ready to wrap this up here, and again, I appreciate all of you for being here. We're going to kind of finish with a little bit of a lightning round here. Not that this was a game show in any way. And so here is my question, and we're looking for maybe like a little 20-second response here. If you were speaking to a family that had just arrived to Lynchburg and they were considering LCS, there are so many educational options in Central Virginia. What is the 20-second response you would give them to say, hey, I think this is the right place for you? And Dr. Brown, can I start with you, and let's come on back down the line.
Yeah, I would say, hey, I can't do this in 20 seconds, but it's 1,000 reasons. We offer things that other school divisions just don't. String programs for elementary school students, our athletics are impeccable, our academics are top tier. We have educators that surpass educators across the state, and this is one of the best school systems in the state of Virginia and the country. If you give us an opportunity to come here, we'd love to show you all the opportunity that we are able to offer here.
And I would say whatever school you walk through in the door, they have their own special culture and climate. Your child is not going to be a number. It's not going to be a diploma. It's not going to be a graduation rate or an attendance rate or a discipline or achievement score. They are going to be met with people who, wake up every day, walk in, and, with a couple cups of coffee, I'm not going to lie, we're educators, and go, woo, we're ready to start the day. Your child is not a number. And if you give us the opportunity, we will show you that not only your opinion matters, but your child's voice matters and your child's heart matters.
And to piggyback on that, I think that we have a lot of teachers and administrators that they're there to build relationships with the children, to really get to know them, to listen to them, and again, be there for them. And I think that's very important because it is a personal thing.
There are so many ways that you can get involved in LCS. I am part of a lot of after-school activities, and I think honestly that to me is what I love so much about EC Glass, is that there are so many ways. No matter your interest, there's always a way for you to get involved. And I think if college is your path, that's something that they look at, and that's really important to have, but it also makes you a well-rounded person. You have all these experiences that you can look back on and draw from and bring back into your life.
Well, one last time, I want to go ahead and please thank our panelists here for coming out tonight and speaking with us. Appreciate you all so much.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Reed, and our panelists. And I think Lucy said it when she said, there's something for everyone here at LCS, which makes me proud that we do have a lot of offerings and a lot of opportunities for our students to participate. And I can give you another 20-second reason why Lynchburg City Schools is your public school of choice. And they're over here to my right, the Heritage High School String Quartet, which recently accompanied the Beatles versus Stones touring group at the Academy Center of the Arts. The quartet is led by Mr. Scott Stolkup, and they will be performing Colors of Home. Great job. Thank you, thank you. We certainly enjoy having an opportunity to showcase the talent that is here in Lynchburg City Schools. And we are not short for talent, but we are short for time. So I have to keep it moving here. We've showcased some of the things that we did last year. We had an amazing panel that gave you a glimpse of some of the things that are occurring right now. And now it's time to take a look at our future. Some of you may be feeling that the future isn't so bright. After all, hasn't LCS experienced a lot of challenges lately? Well, yes. While we're celebrating many of the wonderful things our students are doing, we're also dealing with some of the hard realities of teacher shortages, bus driver shortages, special education staff shortages, quite frankly, you name it, shortages all over. We're also experiencing some rising costs in basic things such as heat, gas, water, electricity, auto and bus insurance, health insurance, and more. And if that's not enough, we are also feeling the pinch of a loss of revenues, aging facility and infrastructure, and school closings and consolidations. With all that going on, how can the future be bright? And how do we stay focused and motivated? Perspective. There is no doubt that those things are definitely challenging. But with every challenge, if you change your perspective, there's an opportunity there. And we have the opportunity to look at things through a different lens and to do and model for our students what we ask them to do. Those 5 C's that are so important. The citizenship, if we want them to be good citizens, then we need to be good citizens and do what is right for them. Communication, sharing things like the state of LCS, collaborating and involving our students, our families, our community, our parents, and especially during challenging times, the 2 C's of creativity and critical thinking. And we have certainly done that as we look towards the future. So as we consider the vision for the 2025 school year, although we may look different on the outside, having consolidated some elementary schools, what matters most is what happens on the inside. And the inside is where the magic occurs. So, to tell us a little bit more about the vision for our future, I'd like to welcome to the stage our Deputy Superintendents, Mrs. Amy Pugh and Dr. Reed Wodeka.
Well, good evening, Lynchburg, and it's so wonderful to see everyone, and thank you, Dr. Edwards, for that introduction. It's been wonderful to hear about the wonderful things happening here in Lynchburg and in Lynchburg City Schools. We are thrilled this evening to talk to you a little bit about our vision for the future of public education here in the city of Lynchburg. And as we started talking about this conversation about what is the future of public education here, I was reminded about a phrase that I learned from a good friend of mine, Margette Upshur. If you don't know Margette, I'm surprised, but Margette is the longtime wonderful economic development director for the city of Lynchburg. And about 6 years ago, she and I were working together with a number of community partners to develop the city's economic development strategic plan. And one of the phrases that guided us through that process was a phrase that has stuck with me, and it is honor legacy and encourage innovation. Now, that's an approach that we developed through that plan and has brought hundreds of millions of dollars in private sector investment. It's brought over 1,000 new jobs to Lynchburg, and it has been something that has been transformational even during the depths of the pandemic. Honor legacy and encourage innovation. I really don't think that any phrase could better represent the future direction that we want to embrace here at Lynchburg City Schools. Lynchburg has a phenomenal legacy of public education. Not only have our schools and our programs received national and sometimes international recognition in the past, our graduates have made their mark across the globe, and in some cases of a certain astronaut above the globe. Now, we continue this legacy of a tradition of excellence. We, though, cannot rest on the laurels of the past accomplishments that we've had. The reality is, as Dr. Edwards mentioned just a few moments ago, the world is changing. We have challenges now that we did not have before. The reality is, we would like to say it's not, but the effects of the pandemic are still lingering in our school system. There are new workforce expectations that present hiring challenges to us as a school division. And let's be honest, the current economic and political environment nationwide has been challenging for many in public education and has caused significant difficulties as we move forward. But the reality is that those challenges are nothing but opportunities. And in fact, we see Lynchburg City Schools in the beginning of a new renaissance, one where we can leverage the opportunities that we have to make us stronger, to help us build on success, and to make sure that we are growing the next generation of excellence here in Lynchburg. Now, I want to be very clear about our intent, about our conversation tonight. Our goal over the next several years is to take Lynchburg City Schools to the leading ranks of pre-K to 12 education, both regionally and nationally. Now, to do that, we have to understand that schools individually are not islands unto themselves. The reality is that schools are not just in a community, but they have to be of the community. And so as a community, we have to join together as we fundamentally redesign, rethink the way that we do our work in LCS so that we can thrive and to create this organization into the world-class educational institution that we know that it can be. So tonight, we are going to share a broad vision, a future that prepares students to be civically minded. They're going to be responsible. They're going to be employable, critical thinkers. And they're going to be the next leaders of this community and communities nationwide.
Thank you, Dr. Wotica. For many reasons, we believe Lynchburg's public schools are the right choice for every child in our city. Smaller class sizes than many private schools, fantastic arts programs, which you've seen some of that tonight, competitive and impactful athletic programs, and the most available advanced placement or AP courses within an hour's drive. That's just to name a few. But we know there is work to be done to ensure that our schools are truly great and that they are the choice school options for every family in Lynchburg. Great public schools are designed for community excellence, and we must embrace that moving forward. Great public schools are academically rigorous, focusing on the whole student's development. They are filled with highly trained, well-respected faculty and staff who support one another in their shared vision for students. Great public schools partner with engaged families and community members to support quality instruction. And great public schools intentionally align instructional approaches that are relevant to students' lives. As we develop an innovative structure for our educational opportunities, we will challenge every program to integrate the following core principles. First, research and data-driven thinking. Beginning in elementary school and continuing through high school, students will develop critical thinking, research, and analytical skills that will allow them to build an understanding of the larger world around them. Next, service learning and leadership. Students will engage in activities that allow them to see the larger picture of the skills they are developing, growing their ability to make impactful, positive change in their communities. We also have arts and athletics integration. Throughout their tenure at LCS, students will integrate arts and athletics into their daily lives, reinforcing critical life lessons while growing an appreciation for rich cultural experiences. And finally, sustainability. We will encourage all students to embrace all forms of sustainability, including economic, social, and environmental sustainability as they learn about the world around them. We also believe that the future of great public schools in Lynchburg revolves around merging traditional comprehensive curriculum with the equally critical experiences that career and technical education, or CTE, provides our students. All students should take CTE courses, which, along with other coursework, will better prepare them for the future and introduce them to a true diversity of ideas and experiences. Fostering great public schools also means that career readiness lessons must be integrated into every student experience. That extends to our arts and athletic programs, which represent opportunities to teach important lessons about teamwork, leadership, appropriate responses to adversity, responsibility to themselves and others, and both winning and losing gracefully. These are skills every student needs to be successful in the workplace, and we intend to expand access to participation in arts and athletics across the school division so that our students are able to benefit from these life lessons at an earlier age.
So what does that look like? You've heard us talk about a number of sort of high-minded, broad themes that we have to redesign our approach to programming, that we have to instill core principles into all of our educational opportunities, and that we have to fully integrate CTE into the daily experiences of our students. We also have to have arts and athletics, and they have to continue to play a vital role in students' development. But let's talk about what this actually means operationally and how that affects student and faculty experiences over the next several years. If Lynchburg City Schools is going to be effective in creating an environment that drives student success, the reality is that we have to orient every single LCS experience towards the divisions and the community's common goals. Right now, the reality is that a number of our schools sort of operate independently of one another. And there's a clear separation of strategy right now between elementary schools and secondary schools. So moving forward, we want to take a more integrated approach to K-12 planning. We want to make sure that we are engaging consistently for students and staff and their expectations and their support all the way from elementary school through high school. So in addition to organizing our leadership in a little bit different way, our approach has two primary components that are really critically important to establishing this vision. First of all, our programmatic offerings through all grades have to be aligned with growing career sectors in this area and nationwide, and support college and career readiness for our students. And secondly, we need to create a division-wide innovation network that will integrate state-of-the-art learning and teaching practices into all levels of study.
Let's touch on aligning our educational opportunities with growing career sectors. Over the next decade, Lynchburg City Schools will target the development of programs that substantially contribute to our student success in fields with growing employment opportunities. You can see these here. These are the anticipated sectors. This focus on future careers will shape the kind of experiences offered to our students from pre-K all the way through elementary, middle, and high school, preparing them for technical and academic excellence.
This leads us right into our innovation network, which connects all schools at all levels through increasingly advanced opportunities to explore both careers, beginning with our youngest learners. So imagine if our pre-K students, if they started their learning experience with a sense of wonder and joy in their education, by rooting their exploration that will form a foundation for their future learning. We will do this through experiential learning, so students will have the opportunity to build background knowledge in core subjects like math, science, social studies, and reading, and do so while developing and gaining experience and knowledge about the larger world around them. We're going to design pre-K classrooms that focus around themes that impact students' lives every day. That might be something like farm to table, or the wonderful, amazing me, or space, or oceans, or our world that surrounds us. That's going to expose them to concepts related to real-world career opportunities that they will have later on down the road. So as an example, in the oceans room of our pre-K programs, a student might feed a shark with certain items that begin with a certain letter. In the farm-to-table room, students might pick apples and take them to market with labels with certain letters or sounds. When we take this approach, we'll improve school readiness of our young students and use creative hands-on experiences that will expose them to career fields, again, that they will have later in life. Now, if we move to elementary school, we plan to provide across our community opportunities for more students to engage in our innovation model through a more structured approach. We're going to form specialized elementary regional networks and partner elementary schools together with middle schools and high schools to align their curriculum. The elementary schools that you see listed here are the schools that we do see projected operating in the 2025-2026 school year. And as you can see, this creates a set of 3 regions of elementary schools that each tie to a middle school and ultimately to a high school based on corresponding attendance zones. We're then going to develop a special curriculum that provides additional opportunities for learning beyond the base SOL curriculum and provides opportunity for information about potential career fields. We're also going to work together with regional businesses and industries so that we can enrich lessons and experiences that students have to further their technical and other resources in our schools. So our initial proposal is as follows. The Bedford Hills, Paul Monroe, Lincoln Elementary Schools will focus on systems of environmental systems, biomedical sciences, human care and development. over at Bass, Darrington, and R.S. Payne. There's going to be special opportunities related to performing and visual arts, economics, foreign languages and cultures, and entrepreneurship and civic leadership. And at Perrymont, Heritage, and Sheffield, our students will be exposed to engineering, architecture, advanced manufacturing, aerospace, and other energy and information systems, all critically part of the growing career fields in our area. In addition to these instructional thematic areas, every single elementary school region will contain an innovation or a lab school. Each of those regions will house a 3rd through 5th grade Gifted Opportunity Center, or GO Center, as well as autism classrooms and early learning center. There will be a dedicated resource teaching team, as well as special facilities in each one of those regions that are focused on the region's instructional focus. In this model, each of the 3 elementary schools in each region will substantively contribute to the larger region's success. Now, the innovation school concept that was put in place here in Lynchburg in the 1990s has served our students incredibly well. And there have been some wonderful things that have occurred, but we must continue to evolve. We currently have 2 schools of innovation at the elementary level, but in this model, we're going to have 3. And as we build on the theme of encouraging innovation, students throughout the division will not only have the opportunity in their zone, but also have opportunities for family choice throughout the city, so that as students have opportunities, they can transition throughout the city. This regional structure is going to allow for lessons that are learned in innovation schools to more easily and more impactfully be diffused through other schools throughout the same region, and in fact, throughout the rest of the city.
When students transition to middle school, opportunities there will align with those that students had while in elementary school. Each middle school will have its own content focus and will center on school-wide project-based learning opportunities that seek to create a practical understanding of the impacts their work will have on their world. Students will also engage in robust integrated reading and writing intensive courses of study, all while exploring careers in their school's specific content area. Building off the experiences at their corresponding elementary regions, Lincoln Middle will focus on health and environmental sciences, Dunbar Middle will focus on arts and global studies, and Sandusky Middle will focus on engineering and technology. Similar to elementary schools, student and parent choice are critical to the success of this model. In order to ensure that students with particular interest in one of these fields have the opportunity to attend the middle school that best align with their interest, each school will have a number of invited seats that will be available if a family decides that another middle school's content focus area would better meet the needs of their student.
And now finally, our high school approach we think is particularly exciting for our students. High school represents the culmination of all the work that students have done to this point, as well as the opportunity to prepare for their future success. It gives them the opportunity to prepare for what might come right after high school. It might be college, it might be direct entry into the workforce, it might be the military, it might be something else. And moving forward, we think it's important that our high schools maintain the comprehensive nature that we've enjoyed for so long. But we also believe that high school needs to be a time of exploration and development, and an opportunity for students to seek out academic and extracurricular activities that will both enhance their career choices in the future, but also help them find new passions that will help them throughout their lifetime. That's why we plan to craft intentionally designed student pathways to allow students to get ahead in both their careers and in their college goals.
A running theme in our vision, as you've heard, for the future of LCS is student choice. We want to help find what works best for each student and then support them along their way. In order to provide high school students with the ultimate opportunity to choose their own path, we will establish several pre-professional pathways for them to explore. Pathways will be built on 3 sets of course and activity requirements: traditional academic coursework, career and technical coursework, and student developmental experiences. For a personalized approach, pathways will also be designed with 2 routes in mind: undergraduate acceleration and career ready. Routes that are generated towards undergraduate acceleration will be designed based on professional program and admission requirements to universities in Virginia. Requirements will include both AP and dual enrollment courses, as well as CTE programs that provide employment opportunities during undergraduate study. Career-ready routes will have a heavier emphasis on CTE courses so that students can gain the necessary skills and certifications to enter directly into a profession upon graduation from high school. Students wishing to prepare for a career in the military upon graduation will have ample opportunities in both routes, as they will also be encouraged to participate in our amazing JROTC programs and activities. As one example, let's take a look at the medical professional pathway. For a student planning to attend college, this path will provide students the opportunity to complete half of their undergraduate coursework admissions requirements for medical school in Virginia and earn a student certification as an emergency medical technician, certified nursing assistant, or dental hygienist. By the end of high school, as they head to college, students can focus on their course of study and earn money and clinical experience while working, which would greatly enhance their future medical school applications. Of course, becoming a physician is not everyone's goal. We realize that, which is why we will be developing a number of pathways for students. As a starting point, we have identified 5 pilot pathways from which students can choose. These are tied directly to the career fields that students would have been exposed to in elementary and middle school. These initial pilot pathways chart the course for the future medical professionals, engineering and design professionals, computer and information system professionals, international policy and global studies professionals, as well as arts and entertainment industry professionals. While we are thrilled to provide these experiences to students, we also recognize that passions may change during high school, and that's okay. If one pathway isn't right, there will be flexibility and overlap in pathways so that students can choose to make a change if that's what they, along with their family, decides to do.
Now, we recognize the phenomenal legacy of public education that we have inherited in Lynchburg, and we also understand that there is a need for evolution and a need for innovation, and we need to meet the challenges of a changing world. We think by fostering community partnerships, by embracing a diverse range of educational experiences, and strategically aligning with our growth sectors, we think Lynchburg City Schools is on the path to create exceptionally great public schools. Now, we can't do this alone. We have to embark on this process and on this journey, and we have to have active participation from families. We have to have active involvement and participation from students and businesses, and we need the entire community to help us shape the future of education in Lynchburg collaboratively. Now, the impact that we will have collectively, it will reach far beyond the walls of this or any of our other schools, and in fact, will strengthen our entire community with a spirit of innovation. And it's a care that's kept for generations of empowered graduates. And over the next 18 months, we're going to work directly with stakeholders to further develop the programmatic vision that we've discussed tonight. And we hope to implement this process in the 2025 and 2026 school year. Now, in March of this year, we'll invite families and we'll invite teachers and business partners to help us develop and shape our curriculum, to develop lessons, to develop projects, to develop internships and student opportunities to learn and grow. We'll share more information about that in the coming weeks, but we want to know that you can get involved. We're certainly still in the early stages of this. We've had lots of conversations, lots of ideas, but we're very excited to work with the community to bring this vision to life. And together we are going to build a legacy. It's a legacy that not only honors the past, but it paves the way for a vibrant educational future here in Lynchburg. Now, we believe that Lynchburg has the potential and has the obligation to be known as a beacon of educational excellence, not only just in this region, but as a model for school divisions throughout the nation. And we are going to strive to make a name for ourselves as a city that places education on the top of its list, and one that develops graduates who are head and shoulders above their peers across the country. They will go on to challenge the boundaries of human innovation, whether that's in a science lab, in a stage, in a workshop, or beyond the stars. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this vision. Thank you for all of the work that you will do with us as we develop this vision into reality. We'll turn it back over to Dr. Edwards for her comments.
Thank you, Ms. Pugh and Dr. Wotica. And I said I was saving that fourth thing for last, and there it is. We need you. We cannot do this without our families, our partners, our businesses, our nonprofit organizations, our colleges. We're going to need more opportunities for our students to partner with colleges. We love it when they receive an associate's degree before they receive a high school diploma. That is a nice thing to have in Lynchburg City Schools. We also love the fact that we are flexible enough to have students who maybe Job Corps is the best thing for them and they really, really want our support with that. We can do that too. And what about as we send some of our students off to college? Think about the entrepreneurial opportunities that they can have. I would have loved to go to college with my own LLC so I could have a little side hustle that I could make some money with the talent that I learned here in Lynchburg City Schools. So the fourth thing, get involved, get connected. If you're a parent, join your school's PTO or your principal advisory committee. Go on our website, volunteer. If you're an active parent, grab your neighbor or volunteer to bring a new family into the schools and show them the things that you see. If you're a business, please go on our website, join us in Partners in Education. We really need you as we move forward with the curriculum work. And we want you to also support those organizations that support us, like Beacon of Hope and the Education Foundation. And you can come out and see more of Communities in Schools on March 14th at 7:30 a.m. with Breakfast with the Superintendent. And that's a program sponsored by the Education Foundation. It's a fundraiser for our schools, but it is also an opportunity to showcase all of the wonderful things that we do here in the community and with the community, and we want you to be a part of that. Finally, we need you to be advocates for our children. We need your voice. We are, as I said, facing some challenging times, and we all have to remember that a book in a child's hand does not make him or her a great reader. A teacher does that. A tennis racket in my hand does not make me a great athlete. My coach helps me do that. We have teachers and staff members and counselors that work with our children. We are a people institution. The people make the magic happen with our kids. And when our people work with you, it's even better for our children. So we have to continue to advocate for them as we move forward. We are looking forward to March being a very busy time of starting some very innovative work. And if I can't compel you with any of that or anything that you've heard tonight, take a look at these little faces on the screen here. These guys are our bakers and our bankers. They're going to be our flight instructors and our fluid engineers. These are going to be our hovercraft mechanics and our housing authority directors. They're going to be our artificial intelligence programmers and our future educators. And as we look at them and understand our commitment to them, as we honor legacy and encourage innovation, we owe it to our children to become involved. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening.